morning and welcome back to the channel. Long time no see. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video I am going to be sharing with you a set of markers that I have really kindly been sent by the team over at Ohuhu. They reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in collaborating with them, and I was so thrilled because as many of you know, I absolutely adore Ohuhu and their products, and their markers are definitely a go-to for me when it comes to alcohol markers. So I was absolutely delighted and really excited actually to be contacted by them. So the set that I will be sharing with you today is the Honolulu set of 72 markers, and these are the brush and chisel set. So they come in this really lovely bag, which is really nice quality. Unlike, you know, some of the budget friendly sets, should I say, their bags can be quite flimsy and come apart quite easily, especially at the seams. This doesn't. This is really sturdy, very well made, and so we've got the, you know, Ohuhu details there printed on the front, and then we also have a tag here that lets us know that we have the Honolulu 02 set. So if we open up the case, we've got the one zip, and then if we open it up, look at that array of colours. And I think, you know, for a set of 72 markers, we've got a really lovely selection of colours in here. So yeah, I think they've curated these really well. So in with the markers, we get a little sort of protective plastic sheet. So if you're working on a smaller page, or, you know, just sort of like an area of a page, you can slip this in behind, and that will help protect your page from any potential bleed through. So this is really handy to have. And then we also have some other bits and pieces in here as well. So we have our colour swatch charts, so we will be completing these together in this video. So we've got those, a little sort of information leaflet there, you know, little warnings and whatnot on that one. And then we have this really beautiful booklet. I love the colours here on the front. I really do like that. And I think this just shows us what markers, what sets they do, the colours that you get in each set. So definitely really handy to have. You know, and if you have a set of these markers and you find, you know, some of your pens are, starting to run out of ink, you could always just put a little mark. Let's find a page here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you could always put just like a little mark by the colours that you're maybe running a little bit low of, and then when you want to restock, obviously you can go on to the Ohuhu website and place your order for ink refills. So really handy stuff to have here in the bag. So let me just move this to the side. Okay, so if we just grab a marker, I'm going to zoom you in. Okay, so on our markers here we have the white round barrel, and then we have in silver the Ohuhu brand printed there on the front, and then it also indicates what is a chisel and what is a brush. And if you don't see those very clearly, the chisel side is just sort of plain white to white. The brush has the little grey band just here, so that will also help you identify which side is which. On the colour cap for each side of the marker, we have the colour name. There you go. So this is GY4 yellow green, and that is printed on both sides, which again is really, really handy. And then what I really love is that they also have these little kind of notches here on either lid. So if you put your pen down on your desk, that is going to prevent it from rolling anywhere, which I just think is so handy. So yeah, I really think that Ohuhu have kind of thought of everything really with these markers. So our chisel looks like this, and I personally love chisel tips. I think they're so versatile. You can cover a big area pretty quickly, but also if you use like sort of the little sort of thin edge here, like the little tip of like this bit, you can get into some smaller areas, not quite teeny tiny areas. For areas like that, I do prefer the bullet tips. But yeah, I think the chisels are just, they're great. You can cover a lot of area really quickly. And then here we have the gorgeous brush tip, which is really, really lovely. Beautiful quality, as I think we've come to know and love from Ohuhu. And I just think these are wonderful, wonderful markers, and they're definitely a go-to in my, my colouring arsenal. So what I am going to do is just swatch a couple of these markers for you on here, and then I will speed up the video. We will fill in the colour swatch chart, and then we'll maybe just use them, a little bit on a page together. So I want to make sure I've really got you in pretty close. Okay. So they're just really, really beautiful. Here is our chisel. And then, as I was saying, if you wanted to use this point to sort of just get into some little thinner areas, you can just use like the very sort of tip of that chisel, and you can get into some thinner areas there. But they're gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And I always find this brand so reliable, and the quality is second to none. So I think what I would like to do, I'll be honest, I'm not great at blending, but I would like to try and have a go. So let's just choose, let's see, sunflower. Let's try. Okay, so we've got orange, marigold, and sunflower. So let me just see. Oh, this makes me so nervous. I'm not, like I said, I'm not great with blending. Orange, marigold, sunflower. Just, yeah, blending is definitely not my strongest my strong point at all by any stretch of the imagination, but let's give it a bit of a go. Yeah, not great. Listen, it's not the markers, it's me. I'm not like I said, it's not my blending markers is unfortunately just not my not my strong point. But they're beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is fill in the swatch cards that we have. We will fill in these, but what I'm going to do is, you know, play this to some music, speed it up a little bit, and then we'll have a look at the swatch chart, and then maybe just work a little bit on a page that I started quite some time ago. So if you give me 2 seconds, I will organize these a little bit into some colors and whatnot. We will get the charts done, and then we will work on the page. So I will speed this up, play it to some music, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, my loves, so here we have it. Here are the swatches of our 72 colours from this beautiful set of Ohuhu Honolulu markers. So here are the first card of colours, and here is the second. I think we've got a really lovely variety of colours. I really do. We've got a really nice selection of greys, lovely greens. I think the only thing for me personally would be I would like a few more sort of mid-tone blues. You know, just maybe like 1 or 2. But I think apart from that, we've got a really, really nice selection of colours. I'm loving the warm grey one, the sugarcane, which is GY7, and yellow green GY4. They're some of my favourites, as are the turquoise colours. I just think they are absolutely beautiful. One thing that I did note whilst I was swatching them with the brush tips is that some of the tips felt a little bit softer than some of the others, but it didn't affect the use whatsoever. It was just something that I noted whilst I was swatching out these cards. But yeah, I think they are overall a really good set. I mean, for 72 markers, you've pretty much got everything I think you would need. We've got raw umber here. It's sort of like our darkest brown. I would maybe like something a little bit darker than that, but yeah, again, that's just me sort of being nitpicky. But I think, as I said, overall this is a really wonderful set, great variety of colours, and because it's a smaller set, it does make them more portable. So yeah, I think they are really, really lovely. The case is great. Obviously with Ohuhu, you know, the quality is going to be there. Yeah, I would highly recommend these. Now, as a little extra bonus for you, Ohuhu have provided me with a 10% off coupon code for you guys to use. It is valid from the 15th of July 2024. It is valid for 3 months, and the code is Kate's Colouring 10. I will put all the details here on the screen for you and also in the video description. And that entitles you to 10% off anything on the Ohuhu website. So to the team at Ohuhu, thank you so much for thinking of me, giving me the opportunity to work with you, and also for providing my viewers with a 10% off code. I really do appreciate it, and it's so incredibly kind of you. So I think what I'm going to do is just work a tiny little bit with these markers on a page that I started in this beautiful book. This is Luna by Stratton Peterson. I started this page a little while ago, and it is this one here. As you can see, I've only started a little bit on one of the fish here with some pencils, but I just wanted to show you guys how they work in a colouring book. I think maybe if I had a little bit more time, I might have attempted to, you know, maybe do an original piece of art. So keep an eye out for that, because I do think that is something I would still really like to do. Now, this paper isn't overly thick. It's better than Amazon paper. It's really lovely and smooth, which I think will lend itself beautifully to these markers. But like I said, it's not overly thick, so I don't want to feel like I'm giving them an unfair advantage on using really thick cardstock and whatnot. But, you know, being Ohuhu markers, you know, they're going to work great on anything really. So I just want to zoom you in a smidge, if my camera will behave. Okay. So I'm going to leave the fish as they are. Obviously I've started this in pencils, but we've got this crab up here that I would really like to have a go at with these markers. So if I take a look at my swatch charts here, I want to go for like some really nice reds. So maybe we could do Y5, the Rouge Orange. Do this as a base, and then maybe we could pull out R2, which is Vermilion, and then maybe R8, Geranium. That could be our deep sort of shadow colour. Just wondering whether to pull in a little bit of the orange, but no, I think we'll just stick with the colours we've got for now. So let's use Y5 to base this little guy. I will of course go in with like pencil shading and whatnot on top. I have made sure to put a blotter page behind just to protect my next page in the book, because these are alcohol markers, they will bleed through. But yeah, I think I would like to have a go at, you know, creating my own original piece of art, and then use this set of markers on that as well. They feel really lovely on the paper. A tip for using alcohol markers is to try and keep your marker moving and overlap, you know, overlap your lines as you're keeping the pen moving, and that will help prevent streaking. The trick is to sort of not let that last bit of marker dry. Go, you know, do your next line over it, overlap it whilst that is still wet, and that will really, really help you with, you know, reducing streaking. Now, with alcohol markers, because they are alcohol based, if you're working on something that has thin line art, they will, you know, the majority of the time, I think, if you're, just because of the nature of them, they, you know, they do tend to sort of, you know, bleed out a little bit of the lines, especially if it's thin line art. If you've got thicker line art, you can kind of get away with it, because those thicker lines kind of act as like a buffer. So, but yeah, if you're doing something with thinner lines, it's just something to kind of be mindful of. But to be honest, you guys probably know this anyway. But for anyone who may be new to colouring, it's just, you know, a little tidbit of information there that might just help. With the brush tips, because they're quite delicate, I would say just try not to push too hard on them. You really don't need to. You can just touch the page ever so slightly and you will get that, you know, you will still get that beautiful pigment. It's not going to affect that whatsoever. But, you know, on the Ohuhu website, you can find replacement nibs anyway. So after time, I think it's just natural that the tips will sort of start to wear. They are removable, so you can remove the tip and tan it around, so you have sort of like a brand new tip on it. You know, so for those of you who aren't aware, you can remove and replace the tips on the Ohuhu markers. Yeah, for some of these little bits, like these bits on the end of his legs, it's like, oh, a little bit tricky, but I think we'll be alright. And by the time, you know, I add shading and gel pen and whatever else I want to add to the page, you know, you're not really gonna see much of that anyway. Now, as I very well demonstrated earlier, I'm not good at blending markers at all. It's something I definitely need to work on. I do try, but because I feel I'm not good at it, I don't try all that often. So it's definitely something I need to continue to practice. But, you know, we've all got to start somewhere, haven't we? Okay, so now that his legs are done at the moment, I'm just going to have a go with the darkest. So I'm using R8, which is geranium, and then I'm going to go over that with R2, which is vermilion, just to try and blend it into the Y5, which is rouge orange. Oh, this makes me so nervous. Okay, so let's just put a little bit of that, and then whilst that's wet, add that one. So R8, and then R2, and again I'm overlapping that colour and then pulling it out a bit more. Do the same down here. The trick is to work quite quickly when you're trying to blend alcohol markers. You want to, you know, catch it while that pigment is still wet, and that will help the colours blend together. I'm not super quick, but we're having a go, aren't we? So I just wanted to, you know, show you kind of how these work on a colouring page, just, you know, really quickly, so you can kind of get an idea, you know. Okay, and then quickly. I don't think I'm quick enough with like 3 colours, which is why I'm just doing the 2 at the moment. And then I will put the lightest colour, yeah, I will put that in a sec. Okay, so then just put the lids on those a second, and I'm going to go in with my lightest colour, which was the Y5, and just put that over those other 2 colours that I've put in are dark and mid-tones, and hopefully that will just help bring those together. There. So as you can see, it's not by any means perfect, but you can, you know, you can continue sort of adding in, you know, just sort of like layering up those markers as much as the paper will allow you. Some paper is, you know, a bit more temperamental than others. I think, you know, if you're kind of careful on certain paper, you can definitely get away with it. I don't know how well this paper is. Yeah, kind of pretty saturated here, so I don't really think I want to push my luck too much more. But yeah, I think that is how I would, you know, work on this, and then maybe just smooth it out a little bit with some pencils. But overall, do you know, I think it's not my best. You know, like I said, I'm not great with blending markers, but you know, I think these are just so lovely. As I've said, the quality is great, and I would have no problem whatsoever with recommending Ohuhu as a brand, and also this set of markers. I think they are absolutely wonderful. So again, thank you so much, Ohuhu, for giving me the opportunity to collaborate with you and to show these markers here on my channel with everyone. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you once again. And thank you to all of you for watching, for taking time out of your day. Again, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please don't forget, if you are interested in any Ohuhu products, feel free to use the code KatesColouring10 for 10% off any Ohuhu products on their website, and that code is valid from the 15th of July 2024 for 3 months. So it would definitely come in handy if maybe you're looking at you know, getting some Christmas presents in early, you know, save yourself a few extra pennies. So yeah, I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day. I really do appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, my loves, and I'll see you in the next one. Lots of love. Bye.